Uncover the mystery of the divine feminine.
Everyone is talking about divine feminine, but what it really is? The truth is that divine feminine is really a mystery that is hard to describe using words since they don't really do justice in explaining this energy fully. It's more than one thing and can be seen from many different perspectives. So let's uncover this mystery. So to uncover this mystery, let's consider the divine feminine in its most abstract explanation. But to understand it fully, we will contrast it to the divine masculine. Divine masculine can be seen as the light of consciousness that creates and influences the space, place, or the environment, and divine feminine can be seen as the physical space, the form that an object or being has taken. So in other words, we can see divine feminine as the mother of all form that exists in our physical universe. This can be considered on many levels. We can zoom in and zoom out and consider it on more than one scale. For example, we can see it as the whole galaxy, as the solar system, as the whole Earth, as a specific place on Earth, as the whole body of humanity, your body, the cell in your body. Like when you zoom out, you actually reach space, the planets, the galaxies, and you can zoom out as much as you want and it's never ending. And you can zoom in, and when you zoom in on a quantum realms. And it's also never ending. Both are infinity. Now let's consider the divine feminine on a galactic level. So let's zoom out and ask, what can we learn from the Milky Way Galaxy as being the galactic mother? Ancients saw the Milky Way Galaxy as a silver river formed from the milk. Cow nourishes her calf with the milk. This implies the cow is the mother, she has a child, and there is also a bull who is the father of the child. On galactic level, we can see the white bull as being the symbol of the galactic father and white cow being as the symbol of the galactic mother. So the white bull is the symbol of the galactic father or the divine masculine, and the white cow is the symbol of galactic mother or the divine feminine. The calf being nourished by the white cow is the symbol of your own soul or your own spirit. How did the ancients saw the divine feminine? Let's look at 3 examples from ancient cultures that will help us to understand this. We will look at 3 goddesses associated with the cow symbol: Hathor and Nut from ancient Egypt, and Hera from the ancient Greece. First, we will look at Hathor from ancient Egypt. She is associated with motherhood, fertility, love, and beauty. When linked to the sky cow, she represents the protective and nurturing aspect of the mother goddess. In some myths, she is described as mother of Ra, which represents the sun of our solar system. Next, we have Nut from the ancient Egypt. She is a goddess of sky, stars, cosmos, mothers, astronomy, and the universe. Nut was believed to be the sky itself, encompassing the heavens and stars with her body. The Milky Way was seen as a celestial river or the goddess's body, speckled with stars. Nut swallows the sun, which travels through her body at night and to be reborn at dawn. Next, we consider Hera from ancient Greece. She is the queen of Olympian gods, wife and sister of Zeus, which actually represents Jupiter. She is the goddess of marriage, women and family, and the protector of women during childbirth. Her archaic association was primary as a cow goddess. The Milky Way is said to be formed from the milk of the goddess Hera, when Zeus tricked her into nursing the infant Hercules, and upon discovering who he was, she pulled him from her breast and the milk spilled across the sky, creating the Milky Way. Hercules means the glory of Hera and is associated with Earth going through 12 zodiac signs, and each sign represents a labor of Hercules. What conclusions can we draw about the galactic mother from the ancient myths? So what we saw, both ancient Egyptians and ancient Greeks had a cow, especially the sky or celestial cow, as their symbol. When these goddesses were associated with the cow symbol, this was highlighting their protective and nurturing aspects. All of these ancient goddesses are closely associated with the sun of our solar system. Hathor is seen as mother of Ra, which is personification of the sun. Nut was swallowing the sun every evening and giving birth to it every morning. Ancient Greeks saw Hera as the stepmother of Hercules, and the Milky Way was created when she nursed him. Hercules is associated to the zodiac through the 12 labors that he is doing, and zodiac is an ecliptic or plane created by the gravity of the sun, and it's the path that Earth makes every year around the sun. The wound of the divine feminine. There is a wound of the divine feminine. It is also called the witch wound. So let's think about how this came about and what does it mean. The divine feminine has been misunderstood by the mass mind of the humanity. It was especially misunderstood during the Middle Ages, when fear and superstition was ruling over the mass mind. It was easier to find someone to blame for the misfortunes that were taking place than it was for people to take responsibility for their own actions. They found witches to blame for everything. A lot of people were proclaimed witch and destroyed by fire. In some places, even the whole villages were burned down. During this time, a lot of ancient and sacred knowledge that our ancestors had, like herbalism and many different healing methods, were destroyed. It was a time when injustice was ruling, and it has left the scars in our subconscious mind of humanity that needs to be healed. So why was the divine feminine prosecuted? Out of fear and misunderstanding. One limited form of the divine masculine is our self-conscious mind. And during the Middle Ages, it was the self-conscious mind of the whole humanity that was misunderstanding all the situation. It was letting the fear to rule it, the fear of misfortune, of being cursed, etc. Maybe there were some bad apples in humanity, but during those trials, no one was even remotely concerned if the art practice was used for good or not. All crown archetype manifestations were inducing fear and proclaimed as bad since they didn't want to take any chances. How could the self-conscious mass mind of the humanity misunderstand and wreak such a house and create so much pain? It was immature in its interpretation. It misunderstood the data it was looking at. So how did this happen? To understand this, let's consider our conscious mind and how we perceive the world around us. So we perceive the world around us through senses, and we give meaning and interpret this experience based on the input coming from the senses. However, when making this judgment and interpreting the world around you, your self-conscious mind is looking at incomplete data, and this can make it prone to misperceive and misinterpret things. In other words, you could give a wrong interpretation of what you just perceived. Why? Because your perception is limited to your senses, and let's investigate it further to understand what the limitations on our senses are. So how your consciousness can misunderstand and misinterpret. We perceive the world around us through our 5 senses, which is vision or sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. From these, vision and hearing can be arguably called the most important ones. So let's explore the limitations that these 2 senses have to see that is really the case and that we don't see and perceive around us all that exists. Let's start by considering our sight or vision. Our sight or vision is limited to the visible light spectrum that is about 380 to 750 nanometers. A rainbow encompasses all the visible spectrum of light. Another limitation that our sight has is set by the amount of light that hits our retina. When there is enough light, we can see, and when there isn't enough light hitting our retina, then what we see is darkness, or maybe in the best case, we can distinguish form of objects, but not the color then. Because we need light to see, and light comes from the sun, this sense is linked to the fire element as well. So now let's talk about your hearing. Your hearing ranges from 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. A sensitivity to higher frequencies tend to decline with age. Amplitude or loudness is from 0 decibels, the threshold of hearing, to around 120 to 130 decibels, which is the threshold of pain. Prolonged exposure to sounds about 85 decibels can cause even hearing damage. To hear, we need the medium of air, where the sound waves can travel through. Because we require the presence of air to hear, this sense is linked to the air element. So what are the implications of consciousness misunderstanding and misinterpreting the world around it? We established that our senses are limited to a certain range, so this means that there are frequencies that exist beyond the threshold of what we are able to perceive, and this could be seen as our subconscious mind. This range that you perceive with your senses could be seen as your conscious level, and the frequencies that exist above the threshold of your perceptions can be seen as your superconscious mind, or the mind of the spirit that is eternal and always was, now is, and always will be.
Healing the divine feminine within the mind of humanity.
So how can we heal the divine feminine within the mass mind of the humanity? All changes without start with the changes within. It is helpful to become aware of what has taken place and why it took place. When you can understand why, it is easier to find the forgiveness within ourselves for this. If the which wound affects you, then when you work on healing it within your own being, it will help to have a positive impact within the whole humanity. Change outside starts from the change within yourself. So next, let's consider how Trinity relates to the Divine Feminine. Many cultures around the world use number 3 or Trinity to refer to the Divine Feminine as a space. It can be seen as a space that hosts all that exists. So there are 3 words in the shamanic worldview. Lower world refers to the past and subconscious mind. Middle word refers to the present and conscious mind, and upper word refers to the future and superconscious mind, or the mind of our own higher self. Another symbol that represents the Trinity is triple goddess symbol, and that is related to the Divine Feminine. And this triple goddess symbol represents the fertility of the Divine Feminine and its ability to create, form, and give birth. This symbol can be linked to the 3 words that we just considered, but it also can be linked to the main 4 moon phases, with the new moon being invisible in the triple goddess symbol. We will now take a closer look at each of the moon phases, and you will understand why the new moon is not part of the triple goddess symbol and why it's invisible there. So the new moon phase represents the girl archetype, or the daughter. It's a woman before the puberty, when she hasn't matured enough yet to be able to give birth, and for this reason the new moon is not visible in the triple goddess symbol. The waxing moon represents the maiden archetype. It's the girl becomes maiden when she reaches the puberty and gets her first period. From this moment onwards, she is able to bear the child. She represents the waxing moon phase, when the moon is increasing in its light, and it's also the first symbol, the first part of the triple goddess symbol. The full moon represents the mother archetype. Maiden becomes mother when she gives birth to a child. These days it doesn't need to be an actual child, but it could even refer to projects and etc. that women can nurture and look after. This represents the full moon, when the moon is able to reflect the maximum amount of the sunlight. Moon doesn't have the light of its own, and instead it reflects the light of the sun, and therefore we see it growing full and waning and almost disappearing in the new moon phase. The waning moon represents a crone archetype, or the grandmother. She is the woman that has lived and has a huge life experience and therefore wisdom collected over the years. The rite of passage here is that the mother becomes crone when she reaches menopause. This corresponds to the waning moon, when the moon is decreasing in its amount of light that is able to reflect from the sun until it reaches the black moon phase. The black moon phase starts a little bit before the new moon. In human lifetime, it could be likened to a death, or reaching the end of the road here on Earth. But as moon shows, nothing is lost. The new moon is starting right after it. The black moon phase could be considered the most mysterious of all of them, just because we don't really know what takes place there. What we do know is that there are cycles of life, and each ending is always a new beginning. Now let's consider the Divine Feminine on a solar system level. So we can see space hosting our solar system as one part of the galactic mother, or the Milky Way Galaxy. It has sun in the center, with its gravity organizing the whole solar system. The planets in our solar system travel along the ecliptic and its band of the fixed stars. But even the fixed stars rotate around the galactic center. Relative to the planets, their rotation takes long time. Like a full circle is currently estimated to be around 25 to 26,000 years. This rotation is in retrograde or anti-clockwise direction and starts from Pisces, then goes to Aquarius and etc. and defines the ages of human consciousness here on Earth. We are currently leaving the age of Pisces and are entering the age of Aquarius. From this perspective, the Sun is our galactic mother and father. Mother, as its gravity holds all in place, and Father, as it's an organizing force and is the symbol of consciousness of our own higher self. Now, let's look at the Divine Feminine as our own planet Earth. On our planet Earth, Divine Feminine can be seen as the water and earth elements. As water, we have a great ocean that connects all continents, rivers, seas, lakes, ponds, clouds that bring rain, etc. Land is created by the volcano erupting, where the hot magma from the depths of the earth shoots up to the surface of the earth. Once it cools down, it becomes the land that hosts all life. All space on the same plane can be measured by four directions. However, space on Earth can be measured also as 7 directions, 4 traditional ones, plus 1 above, 1 below, and 1 within in the center. Divine Feminine as our physical body. Have you ever wondered what a miracle your physical body really is? And as a being, we are not even aware of how many processes are taking place within it. We only know that it works. For example, our heart beats and keeps us alive even when our physical body sleeps. We consume food, but within us that food is digested and broken down into nutrients and energy that help to nourish and build our body. When we cut finger, it heals. The subconsciousness knows all about these processes, so our subconscious mind can be seen as the consciousness of the Divine Feminine in our own body. There are many things that we are not aware of, yet they take place. For example, our body grows from one cell, sustains itself, keeps growing and aging with time, and it is our subconscious mind that within us perform all these changes. What a miracle our body is, full of mysteries. Divine Feminine as a cell in the physical body. So cells in your body change every 7 years. They are constantly regenerating themselves. Old cells die and new cells are born. Almost like the humanity, there are people dying and people getting born all the time. Some people say that cells have consciousness. In this way, we can view all humanity to be like one body, and each of us are really a cell in that body. Each of us have a function or a purpose that we perform on behalf of the whole. We might appear to be separate beings, but we are all connected in a subconscious realm. This helps to explain the seeming synchronicities that tend to take place when the universe wants to affirm to you that you are on the right path. Now, let's consider Divine Feminine in the quantum realm. Ancient Hermetic truth, as above, so below. We live in a fractal universe. Consider the atom in the micro realm or quantum realm. We have a nucleus around which electrons revolve. Now, let's consider the macro realm, or the space or solar system. We have a sun in the center, around which 8 planets are revolving. Doesn't the patterns observed on the solar system level remind you of the patterns observed in the atomic level? If planets are electrons, then this would make our solar system an oxygen element from the periodic table, because in oxygen there are 8 electrons rotating around the nucleus. Interestingly enough, Sun erupts helium, and when helium reacts with oxygen, we get H2O, which is water, without which no life would be possible on Earth in the first place, not at least in the form it currently exists. Thank you for coming on this journey with me to explore the mystery of the Divine Feminine. I hope you learned something and that this was helpful to you. If it was, consider subscribing and see you in the next video. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye for now.